Today's AskReddit post. What is a sure way of fucking up your life? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. Currently work at a casino, and although I've only been there less than 6 months, it feels like a very dangerous game that could easily lead to ducking up your whole life. Gotta be able to walk away or stay away. Those buildings are huge for a reason. You're going to the casino to have fun at the price of your wages. Expecting any more than that is a recipe to gambling addiction. Heroin, meth and crack. Telling yourself that you can't do any better, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Which direction does a tree fall? You down? A tree falls the way it leans. Be careful which way you lean. The Lorax. Succumbing to anger while under the influence. Angry drunk fights manslaughter charges. A lot of people don't realize how much the blood can thin while binge drinking, which in the case of a fight, can result in a brain bleed if the person happens to be punched hard enough or falls and hits their head. It doesn't even take a fight for someone to accidentally fall and hit their head hard enough to potentially cause their death and/or significant injury while drinking. Getting into credit card debt early. Even worse when your mother applies for credit cards in your name when you turn 21. Maximums them all out and leaves you with thousands of dollars worth of debt before you even know how to be an adult. Jesus Christ. And there's no law to sue her for credit card fraud? I mean, surely you can threaten to sue the credit card company for not carrying out appropriate identification. This sounds horrendous. A gambling habit. Especially since the growth of online gambling. There's nothing else you can do that will drain away your money and property as quickly as this can. Or childhood. I get told about drug dealers who will offer you the first one to get you hooked. Never once happened. Now we got a million sites/apps offering us the first bet for free or even paying you in credit to gamble. And nobody bats an eye. For real. I turned 18 and bought my first scratch ticket. I spent $1,000 on them in a month, thinking I'd win something. I felt ashamed and stopped. I knew it was a ducking stupid thing to do, but I couldn't stop. Drunk driving. Sure, you can get away with it a lot. However, that one time you kill or paralyze someone, you are in for a hell of a life. Hey, I managed the top 3. Credit card debt. Married the wrong woman and went to uni with no plans. Guess it's a good job I didn't get a heroin addiction to boot. On the plus side, I got out of debt, married the right woman and still have no plans regarding my career. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Now don't be sad. Trying to make other people happy by changing yourself. You'll start to lose your sense of identity and you'll never be happy yourself. It's your life and you should make you happy before you even think about making anyone else happy. Problem is some PPL like me want nothing but others to be well. So I would sacrifice all. Any idea why this happens? Kids with someone who is controlling or abusive. Someone who cannot compromise because they are always right. Try narcissistic ex-wife. Ducking peachy fun times. Add court orders that aren't worth poop. It's pure hell and is usually years of effort down the drain. Pretty sure my dad has actual PTSD from my mom. Marrying your ex's lawyer for the inside scoop. I'm going to make a guess that there is probably a long, rather interesting story behind this comment. Yeah, this is oddly specific to the point of being brilliant. Heroin is what most speedrunners use. Fent is new meter. Meter is shifting again. Trank is newest op strat. Fentanyl. One and done. Going in military at 18. Ducking around and getting a dishonorable discharge. No one worth a duck will hire you. I've heard dishonorable discharge is essentially the equivalent to a felony. Honestly kind of worse MO. I know tons of successful felons. It's pretty common. So if you work for it, there is a good chance of finding someone sympathetic to at least give you a shot. A dishonorable has a lot more of a negative connotation to me. Anyone who has spent time in or around the military knows that you have to duck up bad to actually get a dishonorable, rather than just losing rank or getting paper worked out with a general or medical. Having a temper. You are agitated most of the time. No one values your opinions. Family, friends and colleagues would keep their distance from you. You don't make rational choices. I really struggled with this one for a very long time. Blamed others for my not progressing past college sports, not getting into CRNA school, not being given every damn thing without work. It was always me and my anger. Very thoughtful response, friend. Hope you overcame it and are in a better place now. Get filmed losing your poop and saying stuff you shouldn't say. Worse than bad credit these days. Happened to this girl senior year. We did this thing towards the end of the year that was kinda like a giant water gun war, except it lasted a week and whoever was the last person unsprayed won. This girl was recorded getting sprayed, except she screamed the hard RN word like 3 times. Vid was posted everywhere and she stopped going to school for like a week. I heard her college even heard at it and got involved, but IDK if it's just a rumor. Feels bad but she was mean afsuhu. I have never been happier to be old. Being emotionally dependent on one person. From experience and in no particular order. Marrying young and marrying the wrong person. Living a lie because you're doing a good thing for someone. Early credit card debt. Not sticking with education. Letting an early major setback dictate and give you depression for well over a decade. Getting into any serious addiction, it'll always ruin your life for the long run. Although the consequences of some won't be as bad as another, like the addiction of porn and the addiction of meth. Big difference, and one is worse than the other. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was addicted to porn since I was in my early teens. It ducked up my social life, relationships and gave me depression. I wanted to kill myself because I couldn't have a long-lasting relationship. Then while I was on the edge, someone gave me meth. Changed my life. Now my life is a lot better. Gotta do the meth every couple hours, but it's way better than porn. I also prostitute myself for my drug money. I get intercourse whenever I want to. Marrying the wrong damn woman. Divorce lawyer here. I can tell you point blank that one of the most common things I hear in my office from men and women is, I wish I had known how bad they were with money. Could you elaborate? How can someone be completely oblivious to their partner's finances? Surely they'd at least have an idea how they spend. Collecting new addictions. I read it as additions and thought General Grievous had Reddit Mayo. I went to school with a guy that had unsuccessfully attempted to end his life, blew the front of his face off. Pretty sure it was over a girl. About 30% of gunshot suicides fail. Lots of disabled people due to them. The boudoir video is interesting because the guy was about 1 or 2 degrees away from being too elevated and so blowing his face off. Not trying to be insensitive, but I'm surprised that you can even fail a shotgun suicide. I'd think putting the barrel in your mouth and pulling the trigger would destroy your neck from the force alone. Procrastination. You're right. I'll stop procrastinating tomorrow. Why don't you wait until next weekend like me? Having intercourse with family members. Very awkward at Christmas time. Makes visiting grandma at the retirement home a better time. Grandma's gum jobs are no joke. Low quality partners, especially if you marry one and have kids. One day you wake up and realize the 20th of October 1930 years of your life is gone. To be completely fair, I think everybody wakes up one day and realizes 30 years of their life has gone by in the blink of an eye. Part of the human condition, or growing up, or whatever. Being born in the wrong country, especially being born in a country run by a brutal dictator. Going to college without some kind of plan in mind. Do not jump between majors unless you can absolutely afford to, or if you're okay with some obscene amount of student loans. Edit to clarify, I'm not against going to college. I'm against going to college without having any idea of what you're genuinely interested in pursuing. My experience was being a dumbass 18-year-old being told to pick a career path, ducking around trying to figure that out through different classes and majors, and now in debt with no degree. Some people end up with degrees that are useless, or they hate it. I'm in community college now, and I think this world would been better first to figure myself out before throwing so much money at a university. Having a child with someone who isn't committed to you or the child. A DUI. It's so ducking easy. 2. You're out with friends, and you've had a few drinks. You can walk and talk fine. Chances are you'll be fine when driving. You're behind the wheel, and there's no issues. Until you get stopped. Maybe you forgot to put the tags on your plate. Maybe it's a routine stop. Maybe you were speeding a bit. The officer smells alcohol, and you do a breathalyzer. It takes very little to be above the legal limit, and after those 2 to 3 beers you're right at it. It can affect your job, your chances of a future job, even your housing, if you're renting somewhere that does background checks. All because you had a few beers and didn't call an Uber or something. Seriously, even if you feel fine, even if you can drive without issue after, do not drive if you've been drinking. Having undiagnosed ADHD or other mental disorder, and, because of, blind parents. I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD until I was 15. And even the evaluators turned away autism because symptoms could be explained by ADHD. New evaluator 3 years later sent me in for autism testing. Turns out I'm on that spectrum as well. Both mom and stepdad are neurotypical and have no idea how to parent me, nor do they really want to. They just say I'm using it as a crutch and poop. Also they call my special interests addiction, so that's ducking lovely. Unhealthy diet, no exercise, living beyond your means, lack of healthy relationships. Wow, I'm capable of getting 100% on something. I should tell my parents. r/Wall Street Bets. Can you elaborate on this? My BF is on that sub daily. I lost 10k on stock options while actively posting my positions to that subreddit lol. Not addressing your childhood trauma as an adult. Yes. But you can spend years in therapy and trying every medication ever and still not be able to heal. The best lesson I learned was that I'm never going to be fully okay. And that is okay. I stopped trying to let it go and learned how to live with it. It's incredibly freeing to know I'm no longer chasing an impossible goal. When you stop trying to let it go and learn to live with it, may I ask how you went about doing that? Turning to Reddit for advice. There are some nasty people on here. I see it all the time. Someone asks for help, and then the vultures descend to crush them. They see a bit of vulnerability and try to hurt them more because they're sadistic ducks. Also the same people that hang out in tabloid comment sections. No kidding. If I ever look to Reddit for advice, I throw out more than half of it, since Reddit skews heavily negative with any sort of experience or product. Doing major surgery on yourself untrained. Somewhere online exists a video of a guy performing trepanation on himself in his bathroom. JFC. Having a kid when you're a kid. Staying with, or even around narcissists. My brain is ruined because my mom never divorced my narcissistic dad. I had to get my head stitched up because he banged my head on a table for not sitting down while eating. He punched me in the face and broke the cartilage of my nose for unplugging the power cable of the desktop I was using. I did this because he was always all up in my business and I wanted privacy. Stop having goals. Start doing drugs from a very young age. Start doing drugs at any age. Not tackling problems, especially mental health ones, as soon as they arise. Not making 200k when you're 6. You are never going to catch up to this economic mess. We had the recession when I was 6. I've been f***CKED from the start. Forgetting about dread. Making others priority and not yourself. Drinking as a coping mechanism. Gambling. Alcohol. Cigarettes. Drugs. Debt. Crime, you name it. The thing that has cost me the most in my life has been allowing myself to get obese. It cost me my dream job, staying in the army, left me with very little prospects for dating, keeps me from enjoying life because I can't fit or do things that most people take for granted. Health problems, physical and mental, I shouldn't have to deal with. Fucking with the wrong person will also get your life ducked. Hitting a child and killing them due to dangerous driving. I wouldn't kill a child just for dangerous driving. I wouldn't even hit them. I'd probably just scold them and tell them to drive safer in the future. In the 80s they would let you go with a warning. Wasting time on social media. Like you said, I think it's more just wasting time. I don't think it's a sure way to duck up your life though compared to the other comments. If you spend 6 to 8 hours daily mindlessly scrolling on social media, I'm pretty darn sure it will affect your life very negatively, at least in the long run. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.